Okay, so today we'll be talking about understanding and creating a workspace on Photoshop. When you open your Photoshop, the first thing you see is the home page. Now the home page has your recent document, this document you're currently working on, and if you have not opened any document, the place will be blank. So what you have here, what you see here is a recent document of I'm currently working on. This was opened 11 hours ago. And if I'm to scroll down, you'll see this was opened 1 hour ago. Okay, so your recent document shows here. Then on this page, on this page, you see the Photoshop icon. Now clicking on the Photoshop icon takes you to the workspace. Now on your Photoshop workspace, three important things you need to take note of. It's the tools menu, the panel menu, and also the canvas. Now the canvas is not showing because we have not opened an image or you have not created any file. So we're going to talk about these three tools alongside we'll be going into how to create a file, how to open a file, and how to save a file. Before you start working on any software, these are very key things you need to understand. How to create a file, how to open a file, and how to save a file. So I'll start with how to create a file. So this is my workspace. This is where I get things done. My tools is what I use in carrying out my job. My panel has other control functions which will be used to apply on what I'm currently working on. Then the canvas itself is where I create my masterpiece. So I'm going to open my canvas by going to File, New. When I do this, it means I want to create a new document. Now, when you click on New, you see different presets here. These are recent. You can go to Photo, you can go to Print, you can go to Web, Mobile, Film, and Video. All these are presets you have. So let me just pick the photo, for example, and take this. Let me pick this. Can name a file here, and for the width, you can change to pixel, inches, whatever you're interested in right now. So you have pixel of 1890 and height of 1470. So you click on create. So here I've created my canvas. So this is my canvas. So I have my tools, I have my canvas, and I have my panel. Just to recap, your tool is what you work with. Your panel has control different functions on your workspace, and your canvas is where you have your masterpiece. So how do you go back to home? By just clicking on this icon here, the home icon takes you back to home. And if you want to go back to your workspace, you click on the Photoshop icon, it takes you back to your workspace. There are different types of workspace which you can have access to and which you can actually work with. And you can actually see this by coming to Windows, Workspace. We have the Essential, which is the default. If you want to do photography, you can go to photography. Now, if you notice, the panel here, the function there has changed. Some tools also were changed. And if that's not what you're working on and you need another workspace, you can also come here and click painting. You'll notice that the icons here has also changed on the panel. So what am I trying to say? You can actually customize your workspace to suit what you're currently doing. To create a workspace or to customize a workspace to your need, it's very simple. So let's assume you're currently on essential default once you log in. Now, what happens is this. You want to create a workspace, you want to create a workspace to your taste, and there's some tools here you don't need, and there's some that you might need to, you might just choose. Okay, let me leave some, let me take some out so I have a clean slate. Oh, let me assume, oh, I don't need property. I take it out. I'm dropping it here. I don't need patterns. Assume I take it here. I don't need channels, you know. I just take them out. I don't need comment. I take it out. So now I have all this. I don't need them. I can close them. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to customize this workspace to meet my need. What is swatch? I don't need swatch. Right. So depending on what you're currently working on, oh, what else do you need? I'll need history. I'll need action. I come to Windows. I'll click action. I add it. Come to Windows. Click history, and I add it. So now I have my history, I have my action, and whatnot. So as I've done this, all I need to do next is to come to Windows, Workspace, Windows, come to Windows, Workspace, create new workspace, and I can name it uh, just let me say test one, right? And I save. Now this workspace has been customized and I've named it space one, right? For each time I have a job I have to do and I know this is the settings I need, all I need to do is I come to Windows, come to workspace, and I click test one. It will come up. Now look at what happens. If you go to workspace, I go to essentials, it will still be like this. Why is it like this? Because you have adjusted it. Now for you to restore all the settings back to the to essential default, just in case you have other things to do or using these other menus right on the panel, all you need to do is to click on Windows, Workspace, then Reset Essential. Now when you reset Essential, it goes back to its original state. The next thing I'd like to talk about is we need to talk about other things on the workspace that you need to also pay attention to. We have the master menu, just like the menu on the restaurants. When you need anything, you pick from the menu and you order. So on your menu, you order things. You can choose to order an existing document by clicking on File and clicking Open, right? Then you pick the file, select Open. The file opens. That would be a very beautiful bed I just snapped from my balcony. So the file opens. So we've talked about how to create a document and how to open the document. Apart from opening the file using the master menu, there are other ways I actually open my files. I can go to the file location where I have my pictures. I click and I drag. Click the image. I drag to Photoshop. Photoshop opens. If I place it here, it will be another layer on the bird, right? So what I do is I drag it to this panel and I drop it. Also, I drop it there. So also for the menu, we've talked about how you can also use the windows to add other panels or other menus or other tools which are not currently on your panel or your tool, right? And you can actually deselect these to also remove some of these items which are already here. So we also have filter. With the filter, you can actually can blur your image. You can go Gaussian blur and blur your image. So you can do a lot. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about concerning the workspace is your status bar. Now, the status bar tells you the dimension of your document, tells you the size of your document, also tells you how many layers you are currently working on this document. Currently on this document, it's just one layer. If you click on layer count, it tells me it's one layer. If I'm to click on a new layer, you'll see this will have to change to 2 layers. Okay, so the status bar tells you this information of the file you're currently working on. Then the third thing I would like to highlight is the option bar, this bar below the master menu. The option bar is directly related to the tools bar. So for every tool you pick, there is an option to work with. Click selection, you have options for selection. If you pick the text tool, you have options for text tool, whether to justify, to add color, to change font, to change size. So this is just a quick overview on the tools on your workspace, the options on the workspace, the menu, master menu on the workspace, then your panel and your status bar. It's a key things you need to understand on your workspace and how it works. So one more thing we need to talk about on Photoshop workspace is saving. We've talked about how to open a document. You can go through file, open, you can go through file, open. You can create a new file by clicking on new. Then now that you've created your document, you've finished working on your canvas, the next thing to do is to save. So how do you save? Just pick this all the document which have this canvas which I have not saved. Right? Let's assume I pick a tool by tool brush, my brush tool, my paint. Can change the color. I'll pick a blue. Okay, my paint. Oh, I have this wonderful paint in here which I can actually sell. So I'm done working on this. Click on my file. You can see save is now active. I'll click on save because I created this file. Look at what happens once I click on. I'll have to name painting, then the file type. Once I click on it, you can see we have so many options, right, which I can choose to save. Now this is happening because it's the first time I'm saving it. It's asking me, oh, how do you want to save it? You want to save as JPEG, you want to save as PSB, whatever file you want to, you can choose to save. Right, so let me save this as this to save. But if it's a file that have more than one layer, you cannot save as JPEG. This is what I wanted to highlight. A file that has more than one layer cannot be saved as JPEG. So for you to save this file, it means, let me show you what I'm trying to say. If I click save file, save as, that's the number of file type we don't have JPEG there. But doesn't mean I cannot still save it. I have to save this particular file. What I'll have to do is save a copy. Now, because I've said save a copy, you can see it will give me all the file types I want. Then I can click JPEG and go ahead and save. And once I click on save, the next thing I do is to choose the quality, maximize it, and click OK, and I'm done. I hope you've learned one or two things on this channel. Just a quick overview on what we've talked about today. Once you launch your Photoshop, it takes you to the home page and you see the recent document you're working on. You click on the Photoshop icon, it takes you to your workspace where you have your tools, your canvas, and your panel. And other things you need to pay attention to is the master menu, the options, and the status bar. Thank you and have a wonderful day. See you in my next video. Please like, subscribe, share with friends. Those you think they'll need the skill, please share with them so they'll start getting the skill on how to use Photoshop. Thank you. See you in my next video. We'll talk about the tools and other functions on Photoshop.